Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me for another video. It has been a couple of weeks since I've done a sit down video, so I'm quite happy to be here. Anyway, today I wanted to talk about some zero waste essentials that I bought that I actually now regret. And I'm calling them zero waste essentials because that's essentially how they were marketed, and I thought that I really needed these things when I first transitioned into a more low waste lifestyle. And I feel like, especially if you've watched my low waste journey mistakes video, if you haven't, I'll link it down below. But I feel like if you've watched that, then you'll know that, especially, I mean, even if you've started any journey or you're part of any movement, everyone makes mistakes at some point. And I just kind of wanted to share with you some of the things that I bought that I do regret but that I do try and still use, or I've given them away to friends, or I will give them away to other people who will actually use them. And yeah, I feel like it's helpful to share these things. I wish there was more information out there or more videos when I first started to go low waste, zero waste, and I may not have bought some of these things. Anyway, rambling on. Let's get straight into this video. If you like it, give it a like, share, subscribe, and comment anything that you do regret. But also, how about some things that you actually don't regret buying and you really do actually like? I will make another video saying things that have been really helpful to me, and because hopefully you'll be able to see the stuff that was helpful and not helpful for me, and then you might be able to make a more informed decision about your own personal journey. Also, any of these things that you don't regret buying, if you have the same things as me, that's perfectly okay. You clearly use them as much or probably more than, I would. Anyway, let's get into the first one. So the first one for me are straws. Straws were, for some reason, they just became incredibly trendy and incredibly popular when in those kind of first few stages of when I was properly transitioning to a low waste lifestyle. And it's funny because for me, I never actually used straws before. So it's one of those things where you're transitioning and you think, oh, do you know what? Actually, it would be so nice to have a straw for smoothies or water or literally whatever. And as someone who doesn't need a straw or rely on a straw for any reason, I honestly regret buying or accepting from a brand free straws because I have to make myself use them because I get really annoyed that I have them and that I didn't bother to really think about whether I actually needed that item. I just thought, I really want this because it's cool and it really looks nice in zero waste photos or low waste photos, etc. And I wasn't at all thinking about the true values of zero waste living or low waste living, etc. And I'm not someone who needs a straw. I'm not someone who used a straw before. So it doesn't make much sense to swap to a more sustainable version for something that I wasn't actually using before. If you're someone who was using a straw before and, disposable ones, and you can transition to a more sustainable version, that's great, that's fine, you've made a great swap. For me, I regret them, and I've given so many of them away to friends and to people who actually will use them because that's a much, much better way of actually having, finding value for them. I do have a few, and to be honest, I really only use those for really ridiculous days when I'm like, I'm gonna make a delicious smoothie and drink it with a straw. Or if I'm, I don't know, taking photos or something and it will look just nicer with a straw, I will use it for a prop type thing. And that's fine, it's still getting some use out of it, but yeah, anyway, I'm rambling on too much about straws. For me, that was a regret. For you, it might not be. Let's move on. The second one is toothpaste. Now again, if you've watched my low waste bathroom essentials video that I put up a couple of months ago, you'll know that I hate all toothpaste that is zero waste or sustainable. I have honestly wasted so much money just trying out loads and loads of different ones because I made loads of homemade ones myself, but I also thought, why don't I cheat the system? There's a zero waste shop in London. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna try out these toothpastes because why not? And one that I bought that was like £9 for a really small thing, and unfortunately I hate it. Lots of people like the toothpaste that I don't actually like, and there are other versions where I think Shelby uses one that's in a completely aluminium tube, because she said her, like, Madison cannot get over, like, she just hates also zero waste toothpaste just like I do. But I haven't, that's in the US, and I can't find a UK version of that, and I'm lucky enough that I can actually afford, or have been able to afford, to try out lots of different toothpastes, etc. If it's a stretch to pay £9, which for most people it is going to be, for a toothpaste that's like this big, and then to not like it, I mean, I forced myself to use all of them, because otherwise that would have been the height of hypocrisy coming to zero waste. So I obviously have used all of them, but imagine spending £9 on something that you couldn't really afford in the first place, and then finding out it's disgusting. Although actually I suppose it's quite lucky, because then I don't have to spend £9 again. But toothpaste for me, again, it's been a really tricky one. I've blah blah blah. I have no words today. It's a great day for trying to do a video. I've had a tough time with toothpaste. So I do regret buying lots of different ones, because I have been able to reuse the jars and things like that, but I've just kind of seen it as, I wish I had watched some other channel where they had gone on, who actually liked toothpaste that had been made, etc., and gone through every single different one. Maybe, I feel like that would be a good thing for someone to do. Not me, because I'm very biased and I hate all like zero waste store-bought toothpaste, so I wouldn't give you a very good kind of rundown of the different ones. But I think it is really important to have all that information out there. That's why it's so exciting. There are so many people talking about like low waste living, zero waste living, low impact living, etc. on the internet now, because then you can make a more informed decision, so you're not kind of spending lots of money on things which none of us really want to be doing or can afford to do, and you're like being able to make a better decision with more information. So yep, that's definitely, let's move on because it's getting long. The third one is a single walled water bottle, and I say single, I mean like, so I had one and I still have it and I still use it. Obviously I'm not gonna, you know, be ridiculous and not use it, or my sister borrows it sometimes, or eventually I might give it to my boyfriend or a friend or whatever. But now I have a double walled one, and it is so much better. There have been so many times where I just haven't really realized what a single wall means, and I'll put like a hot liquid in it, and then I'll go and I'll get like fire hand and it is so painful because I haven't realized that it's not going to be like heat proof. And then if you put cold water in there, it just gets warm real quick, and that's not ideal. And I really wish, I mean, this might be you might be thinking you're a complete noob, Immy, for not understanding the difference between a single walled and a double walled water bottle. But like, we all have to learn, okay? And again, I didn't really know there was a difference. So when I was buying one, I just thought, aren't they all the same? And yeah, so I really regret buying single walled one, especially because now I have a double walled one. Like, I don't get the fire hand, and my water stays cold if I'm going to a really hot, if it is a hot day, or it stays really hot, so either way. And then I can use that water bottle for hot coffee as well if I want a lot of coffee or tea, etc., which I couldn't use for the single walled one. So that is a deep regret. We're getting, I mean, that's a massive over exaggeration that it's a deep regret, but it is an item that I do regret buying, that was marketed again as a zero waste essential. But of course I still use it, and I will, I guess, give it away maybe eventually to someone who will value it a little bit more, because there's really no need to have 2 water bottles. The next thing is stainless steel containers, and I don't mean like a lunchbox. Like, I love the lunchbox that I have and I use it all the time. I mean excessively buying multiple stainless steel containers that you actually are trying to replace your plastic Tupperwares with, where you would put food in it or whatever you want to store in the fridge, like leftovers and stuff like that. And this goes back to a low waste journey mistake that I made in, you know, getting rid of loads and loads of my plastic Tupperware, because I've read on so many things on the internet, like scary things being like BPA, it's awful, and which obviously it is awful, and it leaches and all this kind of stuff. But it meant that I replaced it with loads of stainless steel containers, and the stainless steel containers are incredibly resource intensive to produce, and the steel obviously has to be mined as well. And I didn't really know any of these things, so of regret. And I don't use them as much as I should, which again is a waste in itself. Again, another hypocrisy in, you know, my journey. And I really wanted to share these kind of things with you because I'm definitely not perfect, and I want to share these things so that hopefully you guys can learn from my mistakes and my regrets. But again, I've used it as a really great way to basically give items to people who might not necessarily be able to afford zero waste essential things, or give it to someone to encourage them to be a little bit more sustainable. And it has worked, and that's really nice, and it's really great that I am able to actually use those items in a valuable way to give them to someone else. But I am annoyed that I bought them in the first place. But whatever, never mind. Let's move on to the last item that I do regret. Okay, I don't know whether you remember the time when wooden spoons and coconut bowls became really popular and trendy, but I do. And I do because I remember I bought some. And I did buy them as kind of like props, I guess, for Instagram and YouTube filming and stuff like that. But I also bought them because I thought they'd be super lightweight to take out with me, and everyone needs some bamboo utensils and all this kind of stuff. And again, the main reason I regret this is because I do not use them nearly half as much as I should. And I do actually try and go out of my way to use these items because I have them. But for things like bamboo cutlery, whatever, I just have a spoon. I never bought like a knife and fork or whatever. But I could have just used a spoon or a fork that I have in my kitchen already. But to be honest, like, I do understand that the more items you have, they do get heavy, like glass, and if you do have like stainless steel forks and knives and you wrap them up, and then you have a water bottle and you have a coffee cup, like it can get so heavy in your bag. And especially if you're at school or uni or you're at work and you have to take loads of books and all this kind of stuff with you, it can get so heavy. So I fully understand that for some, you know, for you guys, having bamboo cutlery might be like the best thing ever. But for me personally, it was a stupid decision because I work from home now. And I never really took them to work anyway because I had a cafe or a cafeteria or a kitchen at work at both the places that I worked. So I had all those items there and I didn't really need to take them. And if I was going out for lunch one day or something, it was probably on a weekend and I wouldn't be having books or my laptop or anything like that taking with me. So it felt like it was a big mistake because I wasn't using them the way that I should be, you know? So yeah, but I do try and use all of these items, or I give them away, etc., repurposing, finding a way to find value for them so that they're not a complete waste. Anyway, this video is getting long, so I am going to leave it there, but I just want to thank you for watching, especially if you got to the end, and let me know definitely in the comment section below if there are any regrets that you have, things that you've bought, and what you've done with those items. Have you tried to continue using them? Have you donated them? Have you given them to a friend or someone in need who actually could really use something like that? Yeah, let me know. So thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed a cup of tea because I forgot to say it and I didn't have my cup of tea. But as you might be able to tell, I've had 2 cups of coffee today. So I don't need no tea. Anyway, I hope you have an incredible rest of your Sunday and a wonderful week next week. I am doing a kind of reset of my low waste journey next week to get re-motivated and get out of a little bit of a rut that I've been in. So I'm going to be documenting that journey, so stay tuned for that. But otherwise, I love you very, very much and I'll see you very, very soon. Thanks to my patrons over on Patreon, and I will see you all next time. Bye.